Jan Karski tak naprawdę nazywał się Jan Kozielewski. Urodził się jeszcze przed I wojną światową, przed II wojną światową, był kurierem i emisariuszem w czasie II wojny światowej. On był człowiekiem, który dostarczył bardzo ważnych informacji na temat Holokaustu Żydów w Polsce w czasie II wojny światowej. On przedstawił taki naoczny raport, to znaczy, że sam to wszystko widział, obserwował i właśnie później tym rządom alianckim przedstawił, jak wyglądała zagłada Żydów w Polsce. Dwukrotnie przedostał się do getta warszawskiego, żeby właśnie zobaczyć, jak traktowani są Żydzi w Polsce. I spotkał się z prezydentem Rooseveltem, przedstawił właśnie te wszystkie swoje informacje, które zdobył. Niestety alianci nie ignorowali te jego spostrzeżenia, traktowali z niedowierzaniem, po prostu chyba świat nie był gotowy na to, żeby uwierzyć, że tak można postępować z innym człowiekiem. Za swoje zasługi, za to, że tak walczył o prawdę w sprawie żydowskiej, został odznaczony odznaczeniem Sprawiedliwy wśród Narodów Świata. Instytut Yad Vashem też właśnie uhonorował go i zasadził drzewko w tym słynnym ogrodzie. Również został uhonorowany pośmiertnie prezydenckim Medalem Wolności w 2012 roku. Powstały o nim różne książki, powstały również film Remember This, The Lesson of Jan Karski. To właśnie pokazuje historię Jana Karskiego i to, czego dokonał w czasie II wojny światowej.
Dziękuję.
Po II wojnie światowej Jan Karski był w Stanach Zjednoczonych i był profesorem na Uniwersytecie w Georgetown i tam właśnie bardzo często poświęcał sprawie Holokaustu i mówił takie bardzo znane jego słowo: rządy nie mają duszy. To właśnie świadczyło o tym, że nie wszyscy we wszystko chcą uwierzyć.
All right, there you go.
All right. Okay, so are we ready to just ask you
Sure.
questions?
Yeah.
All right.
So I'm ready.
Thank you so much.
I know
All
how
right.
this works. So
So then I would say then our theme this year in History Day is revolution, reaction, and reform.
so you're going to nationals, right?
Yes,
Correct.
we are.
Yes.
Okay, because I'll be there.
Really?
Really?
Oh, yeah, my
wow.
daughter. My daughter's competing for the 4th time at nationals this
That's so
year.
great.
She just finished her sophomore year in performance, group performance. So actually, can you tell me your thesis before we start?
Sure. Our thesis,
Mhm.
currently our thesis is, so our thesis is Jan Karski and Irena Sendler are examples of this year's History Day theme of revolution, reaction, and reform in history through taking substantial initiative and leadership in organizations that revolted against the Nazis, inspiring and pioneering reform in Holocaust education, and using the reactions they had as motivation to help Jews in Poland during World War II, becoming a symbol of hope for people suffering from oppression.
So when we began our project in 1999, there was one clipping sharing information about her. And that was a News and World Report article that was 5 years old at the time. And from then we Googled her name, and there was one hit, and it was the Jewish Foundation for the Righteous in New York City. And they just had 4 paragraphs in English about her. And that's all we could find. We went to the Midwest Center for Holocaust Education. We went to the State Historical Society, university libraries, and there was nothing in English about her. So we went back to our teacher and we said, we need a new topic. We can't find anything. And he said, hold on, remember, it's not just about Irena. It's about other rescuer stories. It's about World War II. It's about Poland. It's about the Holocaust. It's about the Jewish people. And you need to know about all of these pieces to tell her story. And so as we're going through this process of interviewing people and meeting her, without our contact to her, we would have been completely lost because there wasn't information at our easy access to learn and read and find out about Irena. So by being able to speak to her and email with her and write letters, that's how we really were able to become to know her and realize there are several things that she taught us. that she wanted us to hold on to. So, one of the first things that she lived her life by was you cannot separate people based on race, religion, or creed. You can only separate people by good and evil. And that's why Irina Sendler reacted the way she did. She took a stance. She immediately, as soon as Germany invaded Poland, September 1st, 1939, she started gathering her network of helpers to start making false documents to put her Jewish friends and their families in hiding. So her reaction had a tremendous response, and how she combated the Nazis and stood up against them and their agenda and what they were hoping to accomplish. She realized she needed to take a stand for the Jewish people, and she did that with her reaction. Something else that she really believed in is when you sow seeds of good, it's going to have a ripple effect. So when you plant good in the world, there's going to be more and more good around you that spreads out from that piece, that seed you plant. So she believed in doing the right thing no matter what. And that's how she lived her entire life. Her father told her when she was 7 years old, when he was dying from typhus, he told her, if you see someone drowning, you have to jump in and save them, whether you can swim or not. And that's how Irena lived her entire life, was jumping in to save those around her. And she believed she could help the Jewish people by saving the children. And that's why her reaction was so important in bringing a new opportunity to the Jewish families and around them, giving them an opportunity for new life. Something else you must know about Irena is that Irena, right, both the same. So she was so very humble. When we met her the first time, we gave her a big pink heart signed by all the students from our high school. And in return, she gave us a little bag. And she said, no matter where I am in life, no matter what happens, you'll always have a piece of my heart with you. And she gave us each a heart necklace. And I still have my heart necklace from Irena. But we asked her questions about her. We told her, you're our hero. And she said, I'm not a hero. I did what anyone else would have done. But we know that's not true. We had to go to the children she saved. We had to go to friends of her family to learn about her, because she talked about her network. She talked about the Jewish children. She talked about the Jewish parents and grandparents and said they were the real heroes. She was not a hero for what she had done. And I think that describes an unsung hero. Is they're never going to talk about themselves or give themselves credit. They just believe they did the right thing to make a difference. They took a step. They reacted to what was happening around them, and they were on a mission to make a difference in the world, a positive change. So those are probably my top 3 things about Irena.
Wow, thank you.
Thank you.
That was a really good
Yeah.
response. Thank you so much. All right. Let's move on to the next question.
Next question. Okay. So, how did Irena's work during World War II act as a revolution against the Nazis' cruelty? Can you give any specific events or examples of her being part of creating or leading a revolution?
Let me think about that quickly, okay? And maybe I'll shoot some ideas to you, and then I'll give the snippet. How's that sound?
Yeah,
Does that work? Okay, so being higher up in the social welfare department in Warsaw allowed Irena to create a network of helpers, of 23 women and 2 men who were brave enough to take a stand with her, to bring about a revolution in saving all of these children and their families, if possible, but also in saving these specific children. She then saved their children and their children and their children. And as that time grows, we're in thousands of people, tens of thousands of people that Irena saved because she took a stand against the Nazis and revolted in the belief of their agenda. And she So that's one way, right? Also, you need to consider who she saved, right? So Professor Michael Glowinski, do you know about him? You
Yeah,
know
Yeah,
who
we
he is?
do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
Michael Goins.
So we interviewed him several times,
Mhm.
but he's had a tremendous impact in Poland as a professor, as an author, um, making what happened during the Holocaust a conversation. And
Yeah.
then Elżbieta Wisłowska. Do you know Elżbieta with the silver
Yes.
spoon? Okay,
Yes.
so Elżbieta, we're very wonderful friends with her. She was actually the topic of my daughter's History Day project last year because she became a leader in the Polish Solidarity movement to help overthrow communism. So she was the press secretary for Lech Walesa and Jacek Kuron and supported them in their work. So that's another way, right? By revolting against the Nazi agenda, Irina Sendler rescued children who would go on to impact the world, like Elżbieta Wisłowska, who would help overthrow communism in the Polish Solidarity movement. As we consider these children that she rescued and their children and their children and their children, the impact that her belief and her work has becomes immeasurable because of the change and the difference that all of these children and the future generations will make that she rescued. Is that something?
Yes,
Yes,
that's great.
that was
Yes.
amazing.
Yes, thank you. That was a
Okay.
great interpretation. So our next question was, you kind of already answered this, but we know that you have met with some of the children that Irena has saved. In what ways have they said Irena's work has affected their lives? How would they describe Irena's values, legacy, or influence?
Okay, so Elżbieta Wisłowska was 5 months old when she was sedated, placed in a carpenter's box, and brought out of the Warsaw Ghetto by Irena's network. Through that, she was actually raised by one of Irina's very close friends. So she grew up her entire life knowing Irina and her story. And at the end of Irina Sendler's life, Elżbieta was there helping take care of Irina. So it becomes full circle. Not only did Irina rescue her, but now she's helping support Irina at the end of her life. So when we started the play, we were performing after our first trip to Poland, and we started raising funds with our performances. And those funds, we helped move Irena to a Catholic care home where she spent the last 7 years of her life. And the first time we sent a payment over, we got a notice that the bill was yet to be paid. And we contacted, well, Irena had given all the money to an orphanage. She bought treats for the nurses and the doctors on staff and the nuns. And so then we started sending the funds to Elżbieta. She made sure the bills were paid, and then Irina could do whatever she wanted with the rest of the funds. But that also describes Irina's selflessness, but also the role that Elżbieta would continue to play in Irina's life later on. Professor Michael Glowinski, tremendous impact with his book and with his teachings at the university level and bringing Holocaust education and awareness to life, essentially, for his students for many, many years. Renata Zeidman is another one of the children that Irina saved. She was living in the sewers during the time Irina's network found her and brought her out of the Warsaw Ghetto. She ended up moving to Montreal and then traveling with us throughout the United States and in Canada and Poland, presenting Life in a Jar, our performance. But without Irina, these children would not be here today. You can talk to Renata Zeidman, to her grandchildren today who are in their teens and early 20s, and you can talk to them about the impact of Irina Sendler on their life. And they realize that without Irina Sendler and her network, without their reaction to the Nazis stepping in, without their bravery to revolt and take a stand, that these children would not be here today. Same with Elżbieta Wisłowska and her grandchildren, Carl and Filip. And talking with them, they realize Irina Sendler is the reason they are alive today.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah, we definitely
you.
agree. That's great. Okay.
What is something specific about Irena's work that was strong in your NHD project, or that the judges were particularly like captivated by?
If you can remember.
Yeah.
If I can remember, it was just 3 years ago, right? No. Hmm. You know, her story was so unsung at the time, so unknown, even in the country of Poland. But Irina brought a new light to Poland, a new hope for the country of good winning, of good triumphing over evil. And so, I mean, even the country of Poland had no idea who she was. So that's a long answer to your question, but everything was so new about her then that it was just shocking to hear that a woman is supposedly saving twice as many plus as Oscar Schindler. And she did this for the good of her heart, for the good of people, because she loved people, because her father taught her if you see someone drowning, you jump in and save them, whether you can swim or not. And that's how this woman lived her entire life. So her whole story, just hearing it, that she found a network, that she risked her life to save children, that she buried their Jewish names, their Jewish parents' names, their new name they were hidden under, their age, and where they were placed on slips of paper like tissue paper in milk jars, which she buried in her friend's backyard, which was right across the street from the Nazi barracks. So it was under their nose the entire time, and they had no idea that one of her network members was caught and said, "I don't know anything. You want Irina Sendler?" And then she was arrested on her name day, October 20th, 1943, and she was taken to prison, so she refused to speak. So then she was taken to Pawiak, which was known as a very harsh prison inside of the Warsaw Ghetto. And there she was put on laundry detail. And the head officer didn't feel the women were doing a good enough job, and so he lines them up and shoots every other one. And she's left standing. They fracture her legs and feet, torturing her. She said thankfully she passed out from the pain because she was going to start giving them information. When the night before she's to be executed, the guard at her cell is bribed by Jagoda, the government exile in London. They bribe the guard, and he writes he's executed by her name on the prisoners list, and she's able to go into hiding for the rest of the war. But there's handbills posted all over Warsaw and in surrounding communities saying, "Bring this woman to us dead or alive. We want her. She's number 2 on the Nazis' list of people they want." I mean, it's all just right. It's a movie. It's so much that how could this woman less than 5 feet tall be so brave to react to the Nazis' agenda and revolt by rescuing Jewish people and their children with a plan to reunite them after the war while gathering a network and risking her life daily to save these children? But to realize the impact still continues all of these years later because of the children she rescued and their children and their grandchildren and the great-grandchildren. What kind of difference are these children making because Irena Sendler took a stand?
Our next question is, in your opinion, how do you think using Irena's work as a model for future generations could promote reform in the world?
All right. Reform impacts generations. Irena Sendler rescuing these children and their families is impacting not only those children she rescued, but the generations that come after these children. Also, her belief that people cannot be separated by race, religion, and creed, that people can only be separated by good and evil, and that the good will triumph. If we all believe that, if we all live that in our daily lives, we can all bring reform like Irena Sendler.
Great.
Perfect.
Yes,
Perfect. Okay.
Mhm.
Final question that we want to be like a really, lasting message, if that makes
Yeah.
sense. So, what is the most important message you want young people to take away from Irena's bravery?
Oh, okay. Are you ready? We believe, like Irena Sendler, that young people have the ability to reach over the walls of bias and prejudices that adults can never attempt to reach. young people have the opportunity to bring reform, to take a stand and revolutionize the world around them and bring lasting reform of hope, of courage, of love, of bravery in ways that adults can never attempt. The power of a young person cannot be put in a box because we're limiting the opportunity for change in the world as they see it.
That was
That was
amazing. Thank you.
perfect. Thank you so
Was that
much.
okay?
Yes,
Yes.
everything was so great. This was immensely helpful. This is like we have so much material that we've now learned about Irena
Yes.
Sendler. Thank you so much.
You're
So
very
helpful.
welcome. And it's exciting to see her story continue. And like I said, I told your teacher, I hope she shared it with you, that in 2003, the fall after I graduated high school, I went with our teacher, 2 other students, and we received the Jan Karski Award for Irena Sendler on behalf of Irena Sendler. And we got to meet the First Lady of Poland while we were doing that. And so that was just an incredible experience to see both of their lives interact. I mean, she spoke about Jan Karski and his bravery to us many times, about how it impacted her and her circle of people, her network in Poland, realizing how they all need to take a stand and how they can't just sit by and let evil try and triumph over good, right? We all must stand up to the evil and bring about the good that we all want to see in the world. We must never forget.
Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you. This is all so amazing.
You're welcome. I can't wait to watch your documentary, and I'll just send like a list of some feedback or things, right? Okay. Does that work?
Yeah, that works
Thank
great.
you.
Thank you so much for all your
Okay.
help, and then in advance for
Yes.
future help that you'll give us.
Yes.
This is
You're
so
very
great.
welcome. So you compete on Monday then, right?
Correct.
I
I think so.
I think
Monday.
Monday
Because
or
you're
Tuesday.
your junior group.
Juniors
Yeah,
all Monday.
Juniors might be all Monday. Yeah.
So you'll compete Monday. I'll be on campus Monday because I also have a junior performance competing on Monday. So I'll look for your title and see when you guys compete. Maybe if you're close, we could scoot over and watch. That would be awesome to be there. I got to see a performance about Irena last year at Nationals that I hope was so great.
Amazing. All right. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you. Good luck.
So
Thank
much.
you. You too. Good luck
You're
with your daughter.
Yes.
Thank
All the
you.
Yes.
Thank you. Bye-bye.